Have you ever felt insecure? Why? Does imperfections have something to do with insecurities? Have you ever felt ashamed about your imperfections? Do you ever had mannerism about something? Is this mannerism good or bad? Today, I will tell you a story of a wife who has an insecurity, or maybe not totally an insecurity for herself, but a mannerism that made her loved ones insecure about. The text of The Mole is an undated letter written by Sayoko to her husband of some years. She tells him about a dream that she has had the night before during a visit to her mother's home. Sayoko reports that she dreamed of the mole located high on the upper right side of her back, near her shoulder. Through her reflections on her marriage and life and her account of her dream about her mole, Sayoko reveals both her past and present. She knows that her husband will know about the mole which she has dreamed because it has been the focus of dissension between them from the earliest days of their marriage. When she lay in bed, her left arm across her chest, playing with the mole, her husband scolded her. It was a bad habit. The mole would grow larger. She should have it removed. Sayoko's letter tells her husband on the shame she felt when he first began scolding. Even more important, she says that the first became faintly conscious of the oppression of her marriage, her lack of privacy, her lack of refuge, her total vulnerability to his control. Although she then tried to dismiss his attention to her habit of playing with the mole as inconsequential, now that she has been away from him for many years, she says it's important. Thinking through her life as she writes, Sayoko tells her husband the history of her relation to her mole, a history that is also the story of her own inner life. As a child, she began to play with the mole, perhaps because her mother and sisters had noticed it, perhaps even finding it charming, and drew her attention to it. She remembers, however, that her mother also scolded her during puberty for her habit of rubbing the mole and staring absently into space. Her husband's dislike for her habit grew during their marriage until it became a metaphor for their relationship. Sayoko tells her husband, "It was as though I were warding you off, as though I were embracing myself." All attempts by her husband to change or stop her habit failed, and his dislikes for her habit grew into a dislike for her. Conflict over the mole turned into abuse. Her husband beat and kicked her. Nonetheless, her habit continued. His caring ceased. One day, Sayoko realized that her habit had disappeared of its own accord, but by then, her husband no longer cared one way or the other. Now regarded as a bad wife on the verge of divorce, Sayoko is surprised to find